Hey guys, today is going to be a short video about how to source and assemble parts to build a test harness for the Sega Mega CD console, or the Sega CD as it's called in North America. I've been working on a project in the background to try and resurrect this infamous add-on console, but to do any advanced troubleshooting it's almost impossible because of the way the console is arranged to sit below its connected Mega Drive or Genesis. There is a simple solution, so let's take a look. So as mentioned, this console is difficult to work on because if you want to do any advanced troubleshooting, you'll need it to be attached to the Mega Drive / Genesis, which sits above it, meaning you have no access to the boards of the Mega CD at all. Here's a closer look at the space you have to work with when the Mega Drive is sitting on top of it. So not a whole lot of room to use any probe attachments or even basic multimeter use to figure out what's going on. I googled around for a solution for a while, but couldn't find anything ready-made, so I decided to buy the parts and build the simple test harness myself. First, you'll need the female edge connector. I found this unit made by EDAC, which wasn't too pricey. As always, the serial numbers and links are in the descriptions below. Next, you'll also need the male edge connector. I found this unit on DigiKey, which ended up doing the job. Make sure to shop around to see if you can find both connectors at your local electronics site to save on shipping. Links to this are also in the description below. Next up, I went and bought these female pin connectors from JCar. I went with this option as the work involved in soldering this all together was just not worth the effort for something I'm only going to use once. The connectors clip on well enough and do hold continuity even when you're moving the wires around. The only potential issue was with the width of the connector housing, adding up to make it difficult to connect more than 8 or so directly next to each other. But there is a simple solution. We'll get to that shortly. I started by peeling 4 wires off at a time and connecting them, just to make it easier to manage. This worked pretty well, and I was happy with the decision I'd made not to solder this all together. The speed at which you can connect this all up is a breeze in comparison. Again, the time involved in not only tinning all the pins, but cutting and tinning all the wire just made this the better option. And here we have it. Half of our 60-pin connector is complete. You'll probably notice I've left some empty pins. And well, here's what happened with that. I decided to look over the schematics of how the Mega CD connects to the Mega Drive, and it appeared some of the pins were not connected, so I intentionally marked these out and left them open. As it turned out, for whatever reason, perhaps the schematics were for a different revision, but leaving these out meant that the test harness didn't work, so don't follow this process. Luckily, it's easy enough to just add some more connectors to resolve it. Now back to that issue with the pin connector casing being too wide with more than 8 side by side. It's probably overkill, and you could probably squeeze the connectors on, but the female casing is pretty thin, and I was weary of having them break, so I decided to simply solder every 9th wire in place. If anything, this probably gives the harness a structure to stay connected, but it's probably not entirely needed. And here's what the test harness looks like with half the pins connected and some soldered. Pretty straightforward and neat. And so here's the test harness being put to use. As you can see, there's plenty of room to access the main board of the Mega CD. And finally, here's the test harness at work. In case you're wondering, I'm currently trying to resolve the Mega CD freezing on boot. This is further along than it was when I got hold of it. In fact, it wasn't powering on at all. But that's a story for another video. If you have any tips or suggestions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And thanks for watching.